Hello, listeners. How are you? We're back here again. This is Charles Scott Sr. and Charles Scott Jr.
How you guys doing today? As you know, we're approaching the end of the year. We want to do a recap of what we talked throughout the entire year. I mean, you can go back in our archives, look at all the old episodes, but we'll give you a summary also in this episode today.
We can't believe how fast this year has gone by.
Very fast, definitely.
We started out with interest rates rising, inflation being high. A lot of things have happened. The housing market sort of changing from one degree to another. So we've had a lot to talk about for this entire year. Here we are at the end of the year, and they say things are looking great for going into next year.
I will say it looks a lot better for the first-time home buyer than it ever has in the last couple of years since post-COVID, I'll say. With the interest rates being what they are, what it's doing is making the market be going back to a normal market where the investors, they're not attracted to these higher rates. They want the lower rates. So that gives you more of a competitive edge. When you put your offer in on these houses, you can say, okay, I'm not going up against the larger retail, I'll say conglomerates and everything like that.
And as my son just said, we've been on the air for quite a long time, I would say, years. You can go back and look at some of our episodes and compare them. Just to give you a little, sometimes we get right into the program without giving the audience an idea of who we are.
Yes.
Because, we get a lot of new listeners and a lot of new viewers.
Yes.
Because, we actually have been doing this for a while. I've been in business for 38 years. This is my 38th year. You've been doing it for quite a while.
About 15 years.
And we're both brokers. In other words, the difference between a broker and an agent is the broker, we have a lot more knowledge of the industry. We have a lot more experience, definitely, when you look up and add up all of those years. And we are owner brokers. We own the company.
Yes.
So we're not just an agent that works for a big, franchise.
Yeah, exactly.
We're personable, we're close by, we're out in the field, and we're full-time. The reason why I say that is because you have a lot of real estate agents that are part-time, and they do it on the side. If
the majority of agents are actually part-time, and
majority of them.
That's why that agent, you call them at 3 o'clock, they can't pick the phone up. They might be at their other job, or they can only show you houses on their schedule, not your schedule.
I'd say in the state of Connecticut, there's probably around 24,000 real estate agents, and the majority of those agents are part-time agents. So we're not only full-time, we work all the time. We have our own office. We have, locations in Bridgeport, Waterbury, and New Haven.
Correct.
And Naugatuck, my other son, is coming into the business also. Mm-hmm. So, we have it covered throughout the state of Connecticut if you're looking to purchase a home. Because the reach of this broadcast goes out throughout not only Connecticut but New York, New Jersey, and a lot of times people are relocating.
I'll say a majority of the time. Have you seen the influx of people coming from New York to Connecticut? It means I talk to my customers every day. They're seeing these yellow license plates. They're coming in because they realize Connecticut is right next to New York. Why not keep my job in New York, live in Connecticut, take the train, commute back and forth, and actually save a lot of money on my living costs.
One of the things that I have on the table for next year, I had hoped to do it this year, was to do a documentary of all of the points of interest in Connecticut and especially our market area.
Yeah, Fairfield County, Bridgeport.
Restaurants, schools, and put it out there on the internet so that people can get an idea, so that when they relocate. In the meantime, you can always call us. You see the number at the bottom of the screen. You could give us a call if you're planning on relocating to this particular area. We can give you an idea of points of interest, demographics, prices, properties.
Attractions,
Attractions.
Last 3 years, Bridgeport has become an entertainment hub.
All right.
We have the amphitheater.
Yes.
We have the Total Mortgage Marina. And we also have the Sound on Sound concert that's become a new tradition to come out every October.
They're already planning the one for next year.
Yes.
The Sound on Sound. I always compare it to Woodstock.
Yeah, it's very comparable to Woodstock.
I attended the last one that they had down at Seaside Park. Mm-hmm. There was thousands and thousands of people
from all the United States.
Right. We got the amphitheater, attractions that are coming. I mean, world-renowned attractions coming from all over the United States and international.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So there's a lot of things happening within our area, and that's why so many people are being attracted and moving into this particular area. You can call us. We got a wealth of knowledge on some of the things that are happening here. I myself belong to a lot of the organizations within the city of Bridgeport and in Waterbury, such as the Chamber of Commerce, and also serve on the legislative committee. I serve on the political committee. I also serve on the government affairs committee. So there's a lot of different committees that I serve on and do a lot of
basically what he's
nonprofit.
saying is, hey, if you want to know about the city, give us a call, because he's going to have the inside. He's going to say, oh, this is coming to the city. This is going to be opening soon. So definitely give us a call. Our number's right there. Or for those that are on social media, leave us a comment. We respond to our comments on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Send us a message. We'll go from there.
We wanted to, like I said, give a recap of some of the things. We came into this year with the interest rates rising, with inflation going up, and with the Federal Reserve, they were trying to tame the inflation.
Yeah.
And where we're at right now, maybe you could give them a little recap as to what has transpired and what direction we're headed in.
Yeah, right now I would say we're at a stability. We're at the point where the Fed has, I guess, hiked the interest rate enough. We know that example from earlier this year where I said you're pouring the soda, you don't want the froth to touch the table. Well, the froth's at the top of the glass, you don't want to pour anymore. We're going to keep these interest rates stable for the next, I'll guess, I'm guessing at least half a year. I can see these interest rates holding until May, June, because what has to happen now is we have to get back to a normal, stable economy where things cost the appropriate amount of money versus people overpaying or hoarding objects or hoarding inventory, which causes the prices to go up even more. Same thing with houses. People have been hoarding houses at these interest rates. Now they're getting used to them, saying, okay, this is the new normal. I feel comfortable putting my house on the market, which is going to be even better for the first-time home buyers.
Also, when you consider that, you look at the rents. The rents have been going higher and higher and higher and higher. And there's also even hope for the renters, because you have a lot of the cities, they've instituted
rent commissions,
rent control commissions, and we don't know where that's going. But at the same token, at least there's concern out there that everybody's in the same ship.
Yes, but with the houses coming on the market, they'll ease the inventory. Those people that should be living in houses are going to not rent, which causes the rent prices to stabilize. Because I will say, since the beginning of the year, rents have creeped up little by little, but I'm starting to see a plateau.
And when you have a plateau, you have things start happening, everybody wants to jump and get ahead of the other person, so there's going to be more properties on the market.
Yes.
We definitely feel as though there's going to be more properties and more inventory. And that's a good thing, because now we'll have more people that we can take out, show them the properties. But here's the thing that you have to realize. You don't want to wait until the horses are all out of the corral and now it's a mad fight and multiple offers. Now is the time for everybody out there to start getting prepared, getting your credit ready. Get your paperwork together. No new cars. We'll give you some don'ts. Don't go out there now and buy a new car.
Yep.
People say, oh, I needed a new car to get to work. Well, you need a car to get to work, not a new car.
Go back to September week 2. We have a whole episode on how to buy a car with favorable financing or cash if that's what you're looking for, and what to say to the dealer. Don't miss that episode.
Pay off some of your bills. I know it's towards the end of the year. When you have towards the end of the year, everybody gets in the festive mood and they start spending money like crazy, the holidays and gifts and vacations. That's basically temperate. In other words, don't spend no more than you can afford to pay back.
Yep.
Now is a good time to set your budget, set your plans, get your life in order and say, okay, this is what my wish list is going to be for the coming year. There's going to be opportunities that are going to be out there because the economy, sometimes you got things that are beyond your control.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Well, some of the things now that may be beyond your control are going to be favorable to you. So if they're going to be favorable to you, then it behooves you to also start making moves that are going to be good for you.
Yeah, because on January 1st, You're going to get those newsletters or mailers and emails about the car dealerships saying, oh, that, your tax return is coming. Isn't it time for a new car? Or the furniture store is going to say, oh, your tax return is coming. We know where you can put it. So remember, why not take that tax return that's coming in January, put it towards, savings for a house or pay some debt down to put you in a better position to get pre-qualified.
You know what amazed me last year when I saw where the car dealers were offering to have tax people in their dealerships.
How about that? That was very clever.
You can go in and have your taxes done right in the car dealer. They say, come on,
sign it off to them.
Come on in. Have your taxes done. We have the tax preparer right here. We'll have H&R Block or whoever it is sitting right next to our desk. You come in, you do your tax returns. Oh, that $5,000 you got coming back.
Roll that right into a new Jeep.
We can right now while you're sitting here. Let's figure out what kind of car you can get with that down payment. Mm-hmm. Before you know it, you've left there and you're happy. Oh, I did my taxes and the money's spent and you don't even know it.
Now, we're not saying buying a new car is bad or anything, but we're saying if your goal is to buy a house this year, remember, the banks can look at all the new debt you've incurred. And if you have a brand new car, the average car payment right now is around $800, $700. And the average new car is about $40,000. That's going to be a lot of debt that you don't need if you're going to be buying a house.
Mm-hmm. I always tell people, look, buy the house, every car dealer in the country will be trying to sell you a car.
Oh, yeah.
Buy the car, and all the mortgage people are running away from you. Mm-hmm. So you got to set your priorities.
Exactly. Also, with the upcoming year, remember, go back through all our episodes. You can do a lot of research. We have a lot of free information that'll put you in a position to become a homeowner in, I'll say, 2024. Because people are going to realize this market is going to become a buyer's market where you have the opportunity to have, I haven't seen this in a while, seller concessions. That's when the seller gives you money back to help you buy the house, maybe help you pay your closing costs. We're seeing that starting to happen. And remember, if you're in Connecticut, you've been here for 3 years, the Time to Own program. I will say, although I see the funds are getting lower, they've been saying they're going to refund it.
Mm-hmm. Because the governor has committed to creating housing.
Yes.
One of the things that you have to realize is that when you have an economy and you have high cost of living, that's not really good in the long run for the state of Connecticut or any state, because people have to live somewhere. And if you've got a company and the company relies on workers, the workers have to have a place to live in order to be able to stay within that state, or they relocate to another area where the cost of living is lower. So in order for the state to prosper and in order for companies to build, they have to have workers, and the workers have to have affordable housing.
Yes.
Sometimes when a company is looking to relocate to an area like Amazon or whatever it may be, they look at the demographics and they say, what is the cost of living in that area? Mm-hmm. What is the cost of housing in that area? Excuse me. What can the people afford to even go out and spend?
Correct.
It's called discretionary income.
Mm-hmm.
After they pay all their bills, do they still have money to go out and spend?
You say, what's left over? What can they afford? Can they afford to go on a weekend and shop at the mall? If that's the case, they're not going to build that mall if they know the people can't afford to shop at it. So that's definitely a demographic or definitely a feature that is important when building.
So housing has a lot to do with all of that. We're in a field right now where housing controls a lot of things. It brings the economy up and it brings the economy down. That's why you see a lot of, right now we say, initiatives from the Congress all the way down to a local level to pump money into housing so that people can have an affordable place to stay.
Exactly, because what we're seeing right now in the builders, what are they building? They're building condos. They're building luxury condos, not average condos. Mm-hmm. They're building mansions because they're seeing the cost of building has gone up so much. If they were going to build starter homes, which is what we like to see, they would be breaking even, if not losing money. Mm-hmm. So we need the government to initiate these programs.
The other thing you see is, that was going back to the beginning of the year. We're giving you a recap of some of the things that happened. Even housing, things evolve. Back when the cost of the housing was soaring through the roof, they came out with the tiny houses, the tiny homes.
Oh, yes.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That's where you could almost buy a house from Amazon. They deliver it, and it's like putting together a dollhouse.
Yes.
It's accessory homes, that's what they're called.
Yes, we're seeing some of those also being built.
You see, accessory home is where you got enough land in the backyard of your house. You can take and put together a little house and put it in the back of the yard. And the little house has a bedroom, a living room, and a kitchen, all built into one. All built into one. It's got your bathroom, your shower there. Your bed folds down. You fold the bed back, it turns into a couch.
Yeah, we're seeing that they're passing a lot of laws, allow people to build that because they're not making any more land. Land is pretty much built up, so they need to take advantage of all this extra land in people's backyards. Why not build an accessory home? I believe there's some rules to it. I think it has to be an in-law, correct, or someone that has lived there. But I mean, as those rules change, I can see it becoming a regular rental.
Right. You have a lot of and most of the apartments that are being built are 1 and 2 bedrooms.
Yes.
1 and 2 bedrooms, because they don't build the 1 and 2 bedrooms, enough. There's a lot of people, a lot of demand. We have a lot of people call us. A lot of people are coming in, single nesters, people that aren't getting married and having as many children. So there's not a demand there for 3 bedrooms. And right now, a rarity is to find the 4 bedrooms.
Oh, yeah. 4 bedroom, 5 bedroom, those are harder to find.
Very hard to find. Why? Because if you have a 4 bedroom or a 5 bedroom, most people are not giving them up.
Exactly.
Because they need them. And the only time that they give up a 4 or 5 bedroom usually is when they go to buy a house, because they've got enough children in that 4 bedroom that now they need a bigger place, and so they go out and they buy a house.
I will say that's why I see most when you see a larger apartment vacate, is because the person bought a house. Could be someone passed away, or maybe someone got evicted.
And the other thing is, a lot of people are still out there looking for investment, rehabs, foreclosures.
How many calls do we get a day?
Oh, a ton of calls. All the investors out there, that if you're listening to this program, yes, there's a big demand out there for foreclosures and rehabs. I had a lady call me the other day and she said, Mr. Scott, if you can find me a house that's not completely finished, maybe someone started building it and they stopped building it and they didn't finish it. And if I can buy that and finish it up, and then I can rent it out or sell it. And now you got to realize the same woman, we've been looking for a rehab property for her for the last 2 or 3 years. And so I said to her, well, that's the same thing as a rehab. There's no difference whether it's half finished or it's still considered a rehab.
That's the same thing everybody's looking for.
Everybody's looking for it.
Would reply to her, I'm looking for that too. Let me know.
Yeah, let me know where it's at. I'd like to buy it too.
Half-finished house, that's great.
A lot of people are looking for a half-finished house.
Yes, definitely.
It used to be, we've given tips, since we're recapping, we've given tips to people about how to find rehabs and what to look for.
Yes.
If you're driving down the street and you see a house and it's got grass 2 feet tall.
Newspapers piled up, mail piled up.
Mail piled up on the porch, the window boarded up, you look and you see all the leaves piled up.
What's the first thing they should do when they see a house like that?
Well,
call us.
Call us.
So we'll help you out.
Call us. We can do some research on that property.
Definitely.
We can, and we get that a lot too. Miss Scott, I saw this house. It was all boarded up just last week.
Remember that?
The gentleman called me last week, and he said there's a lot of furniture in the backyard. This was I think it was a 2 or 3 family house.
Yep.
And he said, there's a lot of furniture in the backyard, and I see it's been accumulating there, and there's no action going on. And, can you find out what's going on with that house for me?
Like we thought, we looked it up, and so gone through foreclosure.
In my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, one of 2 or 3 things can be happening with this house. There's nobody living there. There's furniture in the backyard. Maybe it was an eviction. Maybe it was a fire and they threw stuff out. Maybe the owners abandoned it. So I'm thinking it's not normal to go buy a house and just see furniture piled up on the back and be vacant. So sometimes it's too good to be true, where someone just had a very low mortgage and just decided to leave the house. Things like that just rarely don't happen. It's got to be a distressed situation.
Exactly.
And what is the distressed situation? In that particular case, the people that lived there had refinanced the house. So they originally started off, the mortgage was only like $150,000. So they refinanced the house for 300 and some thousand. So that means the bank gave them money on the house. Then eventually they didn't pay the mortgage, but they still had the money, remember?
Exactly.
So they had the money, they took the money and then moved out of the country back to their home country. But remember, they had all of the money from the refinance that they pulled out of the house because they had equity. But now they got a big mortgage on the house, so now the bank is stuck with the house, but there's a big mortgage. So if you or I wanted to go buy that house, the bank would say, hey, they owe like $350,000. So give us $350,000 to buy the house from us.
How about that?
And so that might not be a good deal because even though it's vacant there, they took and borrowed so much money on that particular property, unless the bank is willing to sacrifice and sell it at a big loss. But the bank doesn't have to.
Which is called a short sale. Remember, when people are selling a house, it's called a short sale. You see a lot of advertisements, people saying, short sales this, short sale that. Remember, that is kind of like an oxymoron. It's not a short sale. It is, I'd say, a lengthy process because you got to convince creditors to give up equity and say, okay, the bank gets first dibs. But remember, a short sale is a process of the bank selling the house at a loss.
In a case like that, though, what looks like a good deal, look at it this way. The bank is kind of smart. The bank is going to put that property out there at top dollar because now supply and demand, everybody wants that house. So therefore, they're going to end up getting what they want because the price of the house is going to go higher and higher and higher and higher. It would be nice if you could come and buy that property for $150,000.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I guarantee you they're going to get over $350,000 for the house because everybody's still going to want to buy that house. It's just that the other people, they got the money that they pulled out of it, so they're gone, but that doesn't mean the bank is really going to lose that much. The reason why the bank makes out is because the values have gone up.
That's true. I've been reading articles. A lot of houses right now, the bank is hoping these people get foreclosed on because they realize that there's so much equity in these houses. They can actually make more money with the person losing the house than the person keeping the house and paying on the loan. So that's what we're seeing out here a lot of.
Right. But because the rents are high, it's a good deal to go out and buy a house right now because, again, we've always said one thing. What's the alternative? To pay high rents and end up with nothing. You end up with nothing.
Why is that? Because when you're paying rent, you're paying 100% interest rate. No one says that out loud. What's 8% compared to 100%? Why not get a mortgage? At least some of that money you're paying every month is going into savings.
And start making friends with all your relatives or making friends with your sister and brother because you may want to join together with them and buy a house.
All right, go back to the episode in October. Remember, might sound a little stern, put your friends and relatives through a credit check of your own. Pre-qualify them. Maybe you shouldn't be going in business with certain relatives and certain family members, I'll say. Make sure, look at their track record. Have they lost any cars in the past 3 years? Have they been through a foreclosure? Make sure you say, okay, maybe this is someone I shouldn't be going to business with, or maybe it's someone I should be.
Do a credit check.
Yes.
It's like that commercial on TV. If you're getting married, make sure you do a credit check on your spouse. Was it I'm not going to mention the name of that company.
Yeah.
But where the couple got married and the husband had very bad credit or the wife had very bad credit, and they found out they couldn't do anything, and he said, I should have used the credit check before we got married. You go to the pastor before you get married, and he blesses it. Now you go to the credit bureau, and the credit bureau blesses the wedding before you get married. So the credit actually, rules a lot of things that you do.
But remember, when you're going to buy a house with someone, it isn't a matter of who owns 10% versus 20%. You own the house 50-50 with that person. So any decisions going forward requires both signatures. Some people may not realize that. So make sure if you do go to buy a property with someone, it's someone that you trust, and you both have the same goal in mind. Some people may want to buy a house to sell. What if someone wants to buy a house and live there for the rest of their life? That's a conflicting interest right there.
Well, just piggybacking on what you said there, we have a lot of people out there that come to us to sell a property that they only own half of. Because what they've done is they've either co-signed for something or either they bought it together, and now they want to sell it, not realizing that the other person that's on the deed owns half the house.
Yes.
So you don't want to go into a partnership or go into ownership with someone to buy a house, and then all of a sudden get them upset with you and have an argument with them and throw them out and say, this is my house. Well, if their name is on the deed, it's half of their house.
Exactly.
So now when you go to sell the house, they are actually entitled to half of what you've done because they're 50-50 on the deed. If something happens to one partner, and you're not married or even not related, the way the deed may be written up is that half of what of the house goes to their family.
Yeah, people may not realize that there might be some situation out there where someone's owned the house, if they're maybe an elderly person, say, I'm just waiting for him to pass away and I'm gonna get the house. Remember, they have heirs. There's a certain order that probate works with, you know? You don't just get the house outright. Well, if they have a spouse, maybe they have a grandchild or kids, remember, there's what's it called? Probate.
Probate.
Everyone must go through probate, must go through an estate.
You know, you just made a good statement there. Realize this. I always tell people, you can only give away what you own. So if you own a house, and not own it, people say they own it. That's because they live in it and they have a mortgage. But in case something happens to you, you can't give the house to someone else if there's a mortgage on the house because you don't own the house because it hasn't been paid for. So in most cases, if there's 2 or 3 heirs, the house has to be sold, and if there's a profit, the profit is to be split up amongst the people that are left behind. You see so many people say, oh, if my aunt passes away, I get her house. She promised me I can have the house. Or the other one say, and I was promised a car, and I was promised the land that she's got down south, or whatever it may be. If those things aren't paid for,
they don't realize that.
You can get promised anything in the world, but you're not going to get it until it's paid for.
Until it's paid off.
And if it doesn't get paid for, the bank that gave out the mortgage is going to take it back. So
take it all back.
You end up with not only with nothing, you may get a letter from the attorney saying you owe me money for doing the probate.
How about that?
So realize there's no guarantee that anything is coming to you unless it's paid for. You know? So like I said, there's been a lot that has happened this year. We recapped on a lot of things. You got the income tax coming, hopefully. You got some money coming.
We're going to check on them in January about that income tax.
Make a New Year's resolution. You're going to get your life in order. You're going to pay off your bills. You're going to get your credit straight. You're going to build up some wealth and equity for yourself in the future, your retirement, your children.
Yes.
So, you know, get all of your resolution together.
Yes,
and and we're going to make sure you stick to it because we're going to keep coming in and pounding on you the importance of building wealth.
Yes. We're not going to not pound it on you. It's free access here.
It's free.
Look at TikTok, look at Twitter. Remember, we're not only just talking about real estate, we're talking about, things in general. So definitely, we hope we have a great new year. Happy holidays, everyone. And do you want to send off?
No, I just want to say that, again, all of the things that we're saying is for the well-being of you, your family. We wish you happy holidays and a fruitful year coming in, especially for the new year coming in. And if there's anything that we can do to help, you see our number there. Review some of our past episodes. And until next time, God bless.
Amen.